Welcome to another episode with your chapter crush, sweetheart. This is Everblue Presents When You're Enough, a chapter crush, sweetheart series. Bronwyn, Chapter 24. Balance isn't something you find, it's something you create. Jonna Kingsford. My phone rings as our taxi crosses 59th Street. Despite a whole month having gone by since the shooting, I'm truly not looking forward to the first day back in the office. I glance up at Michel as he looks down at my phone. You should take that. He probably wouldn't call unless it was urgent. Heaving a sigh because he's probably right, I answer the phone for my sister's boyfriend's butler. Good morning, Alfie. Good morning, Miss Sullivan. How you doing? As I watch the pool of yellow taxis flanking us dart in and out of traffic, I shrug. I'm on my way into the office. Yeah, I saw that today was the day. How are you feeling? Despite the fact he continues scrolling on his phone, I feel Michel shift in his seat. As good as can be, Alfie. What's up? Is Bri okay? Or does Nick need another gift idea? Because I'm running out of ideas. Alfie laughs. No, nothing like that. I have news. My ears perk up as the taxi turns down 6th Avenue. Really? What's up? Your brother and sister are engaged. Well, they'll officially be engaged tomorrow night. His words unexpectedly hit me like a ton of bricks. Is this how I'm going to get news of Bryony from now on? As a news flash from the butler? Like you've shared any bit of your news? Guilty as charged. Oh, I offer lamely, voice hollow to my own ears. That's great. Alfie pauses. Are you okay? I'm fine. That's great. Is there something that I can help with? Actually, yes. Nick and I are planning a surprise destination wedding in England for the first weekend in March. My mouth drops open. A surprise wedding? A surprise for who? Bryony. Although she's technically helping plan it, she doesn't know it's their wedding. That sounds delightful. So do you need me to tell her? Alfie clears his throat. Actually, we were hoping you would coordinate for your family. My brows shoot up, and I don't realize I've exhibited any outward signs of distress until Michel begins slowly rubbing circles on my knee. Well, great. That's just another kind of distress. Alfie, I'm not sure. I mean, you and Nick seem to have a plan already. Yes, but Nick leaves for New Zealand on Saturday morning. He'll be filming there and in several other locations through February, so that leaves very little time for planning. I'm busy coordinating the venues, the hotels, the flights, the catering. It's a lot, Bronwyn, so if you wouldn't mind helping. I shake my head. No, of course I don't mind. I'm happy to do what I can. Just send me the itinerary, and I'll make time to stop by my parents before Sunday dinner. Can't have them ruining things before it gets off the ground. Is Evie looped into this too? Bryony's best friend also happens to be Nick's sister, so I doubt there's much she doesn't already know. Unlike me, I'm not jealous of her. But I do wish it didn't feel like Bryony is drifting away. Yeah, Evie's pregnant and actually due at the beginning of April. Bryony already planned to be in London to work on the launch for Night, as you know, so the timing will work out. Okay, well, we're only a couple of blocks away from the building now, but can you also send me Evie's contact or send her mine? Sure, I can arrange that. Were you looking to do anything in particular? It seems like we'll be in London for the festivities, so I thought it would be best to work with Evie on the bachelorette party, if she doesn't already have ideas. Alfie pauses. All right, well, I'll put you two in contact with each other. Oh, and let me know if your plus one will attend as well. The taxi pulls to a stop and I follow Michelle out of the taxi. Yeah, will do, Alfie. Thanks for everything. As we walk towards the building, I recognize a few of our coworkers. Silently entering the building, everyone seems to be a little on edge, but my nerves calm a bit when Michel takes my hand and gives it a squeeze. His touch stirs a warmth in my stomach that I'm doing my best to ignore as we stand by the elevator bank, looking around anxiously. Glad we came together after all? Yep, for sure, I chirp. It definitely saved on bus fare. He moves to stand close behind me with a hand on the arm of my green wool princess coat and dips his head to my ear to whisper in French. Oh, you really? I close my eyes and take a deep breath as my anxiety drains away, completely replaced with the wave of warmth expanding in my chest. I am. It was a good idea. I'm not sure I would have had the strength to come inside if you weren't here. Elle, you okay with your sister's news? I frown as he signals we should shuffle forward onto the elevator. After pushing the button, he follows me into the corner and turns around to block everyone else out as the elevator fills up. He nods as he looks down at me, his eyes seemingly electrified this morning. I'm sad. Not that she's getting married. I'm happy for her, I whisper as I thoughtfully frown at the turned up collar of his black wool trench coat. Nick is a great guy, and she's so happy. Are you feeling forgotten? He asks, sweeping a gentle hand over a tendril of hair spilling from the bun piled on top of my head. A self-conscious smile overtakes my face. I think so. It just feels like our lives are growing further apart. I know it's also my fault, but I've been right here. Looking away when my voice unexpectedly breaks, I'm surprised to feel his hand on my cheek. Don't be afraid to tell her that. What if she doesn't care? Do you think that will hurt more or less than going on like this? Hoping that she notices you're in pain. I take a deep breath and nod. You're right. When we lock eyes, electricity passes between us, as it has so often lately. I've mostly learned to ignore it, especially since the day that is never mentioned. I don't know what that bug was that went around. Dory never learned whether her papa and I were playing or not when her father asked her to go in her room and practice going to school. And although I have a strong impression of why I was yeeted off of him, I never learned why I woke up locked to him like a junior high school wrestling competitor. Or why, despite never sharing a bed again, there's this constant desire to touch and be touched by him. While Dory went to school, we just went to work. Him in the dining room, me in the music room. Oh, we had lunch together every day. Sometimes we went for a walk in the park or went to the market to go shopping. When we got off work, Clara would go home, and we would fall into our evenings of getting ready for the next day, cooking and eating, being musical or artistic, literary or cinematic. But mostly, we ignored the constant zinging, especially at night when he lays on the fold-up mattress we bought. With Dory now next door in Michelle's old bedroom, we both felt better about the distance to get to her, but we were also mindful of her distance to get to us. We've had lots of knock-knock lessons with her, although I'm unsure who it's for anymore. Eventually, I began to believe I was the only one feeling the charge, but every now and then, at moments like this one, it feels like it travels between the two of us. The elevator comes to a stop and Michelle tugs me off. Looking up, I'm surprised to see a new metal sign with GPMP stamped on it instead of the old blue letters. That isn't all. Upon scanning our access badges to enter, the doors open to the reception area, sitting in front of a large black granite wall. Gone are the light and airy wooden glass fixtures. Instead, everything is dull, dark, and gray. Michelle leans down to give me bisu, and now I'm distracted that he actually made contact on both sides of my jaw. I'll look for you later, he promises. I'll look forward to it. I smile as he winks and turns in the new direction of the legal department. See? What was that? I proceed in the direction of my office, but I'm stopped by a roving security guard. Apparently, finance was relocated next to legal, and my office is now A206. Confusing, since A offices are internal, and sure enough, my office is one of three that was previously HR's file room. But okay, at least it's been redesigned in what looks like white tweed wallpaper. Shrugging, I focus on setting up my new computer, and by the time mid-morning rolls around, I'm more than ready for a break. There's so much that's new or relocated in the remodel. It takes 10 minutes to find the break room at the other end of the floor, and even then, it isn't a happy meeting. The black granite wall comes up 6 feet to block out most of the light that was let in by windows before, creating a dark, cave-like space. If they wanted a space that would go to waste, I think they succeeded. I immediately wander back out. Where's HR when you need them? Oh, wait. I turn left towards the old executive block, and when I see the auditing department instead, I whimper. You look lost, a familiar voice says from behind me, and I immediately shudder. Hey, Brad, I say, spinning around to face my boss. I wish I could say I had turned around to a short, balding fat man, just because it would be poetic justice. But alas, the man still has all of his light brown hair, which he wears in an ivy cut, and his double-breasted blue pinstripe suit and power tie are perfectly tailored to his 6-foot frame. Doesn't mean I have to like him. So I don't. Why don't you step into my office? He offers, flashing his wolf smile. I take a step back, waving in any direction away from him. No, thank you. I have a meeting in 3 minutes that won't wait. It will, he says firmly as he catches me by the elbow and begins staring me down a different hallway. I manage to disengage my arm as I recognize the names on the office doors. This appears to be the new executive row, and the offices all face the downtown Manhattan skyline. Guess the execs wanted a better view. Unfortunately, the door to Sam's new office is closed when we pass by. Last month, she reluctantly accepted her new role as Executive VP of Operations, who reports to the new Chief Operating Officer, Benton Wood. She spent 3 days groaning about the change, but says her precious shoe collection won't buy itself. Finally, the familiar nameplate of Braden Fossey, VP of Finance, appears. As we turn into the office, I see this visit for what it is. The man wants the opportunity to show off his new domain. A clear view from the large window puts him in the sightline of One World Trade Center. The new design of the executive offices we passed is also impressive, with its taupe and white marble feature wall, walnut desk, tan leather chairs, and built-in storage shelves. His is no different. It's a beautiful room, but I'm in no mood to play the fawning underling. Welcome to the new digs, he says, approaching a mini fridge in the corner by the sofa. Hmm, nice. He pulls out a can of iced coffee and offers it, which I politely decline as he goes on. As I'm sure you understand, they restructured, which is why your office moved, but hopefully you like the lighting they put in the new one. I hear it's supposed to make it brighter and homier. Well, it's certainly something, I acknowledge. At this point, I'm glad to have an office. Some didn't return to work for GPMP after it came out the gunman was protesting the chairman's controversial new policy around corporate audits. Allegedly, the gunman was fired from his company due to the latest GPMP audit and as a result was blacklisted from future jobs. He lost everything he owned, including his family, and after being refused a meeting with his execs and our auditing team, he took matters into his own hands. Well, Miss Sullivan, I just want to welcome you back to the office and while I have you here, remind you that we're all a team. There's a lot of work to do until a new CFO is hired. Brad's polished black wingtips tap across the bright stone floor until he reaches his desk, where he sits as he takes a sip of his iced coffee. Wow, I thought for sure you would apply for the CFO role. Brad rubs his chin as he squints at me. In time, I'm sure the company will see the value I provide. In the meantime, work is piling up here. It's been 2 weeks and you haven't sent anything for the presentations to the two new clients. Tugging at the hem of my bone-colored vest, I stare past into the plant in front of his feature wall. Yes, well, as I explained via email, I have several projects I'm currently working to finish up. Red, I don't have time to do your job and mine too. Brad's face goes through several changes before he settles on a fake grin. Yes, well, as you can understand, we're all working to pull our weight here under the circumstances. You'll have to step up too. My nostrils flare, but I nod and smoothly say, yes, of course. I need those presentations by next week. He waves his hand in dismissal. That's all for now. I turn without saying anything, but as I open the door, his oily voice calls out, Oh, Miss Sullivan. I'm guessing congratulations are in order. I saw your name change on the email exchange. Turning back to look at him, he's already begun tapping at his computer. Yes, I was married recently. Well, you may want to consider removing Sullivan and just leaving the Renard. He looks up then and winks. You wouldn't want B.S. Renard going around. Tugging on the olive green fabric at the throat of my turtleneck, I swallow down my retort and paste a smile on my face. Yes, well, Sullivan is my middle name now. As you know, it's company policy to have our whole name in the corporate email system. He says noncommittally. Well, back to it then. As I step out of his office, I'm rolling my eyes so hard I miss the fact someone is leaning against the wall until a familiar voice says, I'm certain I can put him to sleep in the break room without anyone even knowing it was me. Maybe start a rumor about him sleeping on the job. I spin towards Michel with a grin as he shrugs. It would only cost you a dance later. Chuckling as we fall into step, I shake my head. I'll take the dance, since you know I need the practice, but please don't go to all of that trouble on my account. His face darkens as he looks over his shoulder towards Brad's office. Oh, it would be no trouble at all. I nudge him as we round a new corner, and I see we're in legal row. How's your new cubicle, buddy? He smiles as we pass by the new glass cage that Legal now sits within. I still don't know how I told Jimmy is my office mate, but now that he's mostly recovered from his wound, he's okay. When the gunman opened fire, Jimmy was unfortunately shot and spent a few days in the hospital. Sadly, he didn't receive much empathy when people learned he was hit in the butt. When Michelle visited him at the hospital and brought him croissants and soup at home one day, Jimmy declared him his new best friend. I'm sure it helps he has no one to introduce you to anymore. I smirk. Michel glances down at his wedding band as we round the corner and end up in my new office. Yes, well, actually, I was just coming to talk to you about an email I saw about an open joining for health insurance. I was hoping to persuade you to join my medical benefit. My brows rise as I swipe the access badge to enter my office. I'm not sure it's worth the hassle, Michelle. Won't it just be one more thing I'll have to undo at the end of everything? I sit behind my desk as he prowls around the room, looking at the empty shelves and stack of boxes filled with the things from my last office. I don't know, Winnie. The temporary order came through, making me Dorian's primary caregiver for the time being. But until I can file for sole custody when we arrive in France next month, things are still up in the air. I'm just not sure how long it will take. So you think it's possible it'll go longer than the year? I say, waking my computer to log in as I try to calm the surge of excitement the thought brings. I hear him shuffling through the boxes as he responds. It's possible. I'm not sure how often we'll have to travel to France in the meantime, but if you need healthcare while visiting, I'm hoping not to get the flu ever again. Thank you very much. I shudder. It's always so dramatic. Last year I passed out at work and ended up in the hospital. I look up when he sets the Iron Bear paperweight on the corner of my desk. Bryony gave it to me as a gag gift when I first started working, but now I look at it differently. It's obviously a very handy weapon. I also don't want to see you with the flu again, Michelle says grimly. However, you're obviously someone who succumbs to it easily, which is why I'd like you to consider benefiting from my medical coverage. Hey, I say, raising a brow with a smirk. If I recall correctly, you caught it too. A light smile dances at the corners of his mouth. It was also the first time I've been sick in years. If it weren't for someone needing just to just visitation, his voice trails off as his eyes scan me, and I'm thrown back in that moment after Dorian left my room, when he looked down at me before he threw me backwards into the blankets and fled into the bathroom. I immediately flush and cast about for something to say. Yes, well, I clear my throat as I look away from his heated gaze. It's almost flirtatious, but that's impossible. So far, we've respected the battle lines as they've been drawn. He's made it abundantly clear he has no interest in crossing them, and I've made sure not to look in his direction without a firm hold on my feelings. I'm probably just overthinking it. If you think, it's best to join your insurance, let's do that. Let me know how much my portion costs, and I'll send you the money. The smirk immediately falls from Michelle's face. Do you mean to pay for it? I force my attention to my emails as I nod. Yes, it's my expense, not yours, so of course I'll pay for it. He stands there silently a moment, but I refuse to look. When he slowly moves towards the door, I finally glance up just as he turns to face me. I guess I'll see you later, he says quietly, his eyes darkening as they do when he's seriously pondering something. All right, don't trip as you exit the dungeon. The last step is a doozy, I joke, which earns me a weak smile as he leaves. I immediately expel the breath I was holding and try to put the whole exchange out of my mind as I return to work. It's either that or lose my mind.